You're listening to Rodney Rogers Outdoors Radio, where we turn it upside down and look at the outside from the inside out. It's safe, it's legal, and we're having a blast. So put your shoes on, my friend, because we're going outdoors.
Welcome to Rodney Rogers Outdoors. I am Rodney Rogers. That right there is my partner, co-chief in crime, Mike the man himself.
Listen to the bass. They're going to tell you what they want.
You might have heard that before. Mike Coy, how are you, my man?
Good.
And it's coming that time.
Yeah.
And we'll touch base on that tonight.
Yeah.
The weather's starting to cool down, so yeah.
What are you going to be for Halloween?
A bass. I'm going to be a hunter.
What's the talking bass? The thing.
Billy Bass.
Billy Bass.
The Billy Bass. Oh, I should be the Billy Bass.
Would that be hilarious?
Well, just have the plaque and then go.
Yeah, somebody press a button, the
Take
music
me
starts playing,
to
you start going.
That's Mike.
Yeah.
Only the old schoolers will get that.
They have updated Billy Bass to work with Amazon Echo.
Stop.
Yeah.
You're messing with me.
No, I'm totally not.
Mike.
I should have sent you the link when I saw it.
I'd be like, Billy,
Yeah.
order me some toilet paper, Bob's butt wipes. Welcome to Rodney Rogers Outdoors. This is mine and Mike's, obviously, hour of hilarity. We are just so funny tonight. This is mine and Mike's 1 hour vacation. You can reach us in a couple different ways. You can reach us at 262-345-7763. Right there, if you see it. You can see it. You can also text us to that number, and I'll try to catch that text as it comes in. Sometimes it goes through the system and takes a little bit to get to us. The other night we were getting them after the show. You can also hashtag us at hashtag RROR, and we can see that right away. And, of course, right here on Facebook, we can see you live. We're looking right at it, and we can see you right there. And in most cases, I can get your questions right there. Mike, I got to find my button.
You need some help?
Am I all the way on the end there?
Oh, you need more volume?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I do it?
I'll get you.
You got me? Hello. I don't want to mess with you. Am I doing the right one?
You're number one.
Okay.
You're way down here towards me, I know.
Oh, okay.
Tell me when.
Okay, kid. Hello. Oh, right there, Mike.
Yeah?
Oh, gosh.
Sweet spot?
Oh, man. Sweet spot.
All right.
I'm deaf, man. I can't hear.
Sorry, I should have tweaked that before we went on the air.
You know what? Every time
won't happen again.
Every time we do the show, I mean to do that, and I always forget. And it's so now I can hear me, and I can hear Mike, and I can hear everybody out there. So yeah, you can also put your questions right up on Facebook, and we'll see it because we can actually see it. It takes a few minutes.
You know, I could have actually put your volume control where you didn't have to crawl under the table to find. You know, it's progress.
Well, I thought
baby steps.
I thought Mike is such a genius. This first one by me on my side has to be my volume.
Yeah, you know what? I couldn't put you number 4. I had to put you number 1.
I appreciate
from
you
the left. Sorry.
pushing me number 1, man. So, welcome everybody that's sitting with us on Facebook. And just so you know, I promised you that when you watch the pre-show, that I would tell you when the Pop-Tarts come out. 1963 is when the Pop-Tarts. We had a little bit of trivia before we started the show. So 1963 was Pop-Tarts. We didn't have a lot of Pop-Tarts. We were poor growing up, so Pop-Tarts was kind of a rarity. It really was. It was a treat. You know,
we had Pop-Tarts, but they were managed.
Yeah. You didn't just go willy-nilly grab a Pop-Tart.
No.
Not like children do today.
No.
Heck no.
You ever heard of a black cow?
Black cow.
We called them black cows
when
I was growing up.
Okay, no, what was that?
Today they call them floats.
Oh, okay, like a chocolate milk?
Yeah, no, we do Pepsi and ice cream.
Oh, okay, like a root beer float.
Yeah,
okay,
but we do with Pepsi or Coke.
Yeah.
I think we were a Pepsi Cola family,
Right.
but
right on.
we call them black cows for whatever. Yes.
Oh, right, okay.
I guess makes sense.
Yeah.
Dairy and.
No, it doesn't at all, actually.
Anyways,
no, it does make sense.
Lucky Charms, 1964, the year I was born. No wonder it's my favorite. Yeah.
No wonder that's your favorite cereal. Yeah, so, sometimes I get nostalgic, and I look back and things. Brent Jackson, how are you, buddy? When is the deer rut down here? That's a good question. I'm going to answer that. That's
we're talking Lucky Charms. You want to bring out outdoors
stuff? So that's your favorite cereal. Now they've got like too many marshmallows, and they've overdone it on the marshmallows.
Well, here's the question everybody should be answering. When was the last time you had a bowl of cereal?
It's been a while. It's been actually been a couple months. I ate a bowl of Cinnamon Life.
Really?
Yeah. I need some more life in me, dog. I'm telling you. I need some more life. Yeah, so it was Cinnamon Life. My daughter had bought some, and I said, hey, let me try that. I think I ate the whole box.
That's the problem.
I mean, I went back. Yeah.
Refills.
Yeah.
Easy. Yeah. Then you drink all that sugary milk when you're all
yeah.
done.
Oh, what? What? You know, we're going to go in the sugary milk business. We're going to go to everybody's house and buy their cereal milk, bottle it, and say, Captain Crunch, cinnamon milk,
If you can market that, you're a genius.
Because you know what's bad is because you immediately get fresh milk and fresh cereal, and you think you're going to get that.
Yeah, no. You have to work to that.
You have to. That's an earn, man.
It's like,
I don't even know how we got there, man.
So what about the deer rut? What's happening with the
deer
deer
Brent
ruts?
Jackson asked, when is the deer rut in Florida? And you know what, Brent? The funny thing is Florida is split up in so many ways because hunters have relayed information to the FWC in a sense that some seasons start down here right in the middle of Florida, start 1 month after all the other seasons have started, and literally ends 1 month after all the other seasons have ended. And it's right here in Polk County. So it literally starts a month later than everybody else, and the rut is a month later. What they figured out is the minerals that are in that area that's getting them sparked up in a different way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, man. So they've done a lot of studies, and what was happening is they were harvesting deer that the rest of the Florida was in their season, and they were harvesting deer here that was had no horns. I mean, they were just in their growing part, So they were like, okay, we got to back this up. We got to see what's going on here. So they did some study, and there's some different minerals. There's other things going on in that county that just sets them back from the rest of others. It's pretty weird. But that is from hunter participation. So their rut is a month earlier. Our rut kind of comes just before Thanksgiving, but the hard rut is long after Thanksgiving. There, again, it depends on what part of Florida you're in. It's a little bit after Thanksgiving is when our rut starts to show up. Rut is, I know that's probably the next question for some people watching. What is the rut? The rut is when deer are in the mood, man. They're the male deers are getting sparked up. They're getting that time of year to start mating, so they swell up. Their necks get really huge, and they're focused. All they're focused on is finding the female deer. So they're most vulnerable at the rut. Any hunter knows that if you're going to kill a good buck, it's going to be during the rut. That's when they're most vulnerable. They're easy pick.
He's paying attention to other things.
He's paying attention, man, and that's when they slip. They're excited. A little doe urine in heat. Put it on your pants. Drop it on some rags. Keep it all around you. Some bleats. They come in. That's when they're most vulnerable. So yeah, that's kind of when our rut is just a little bit after Thanksgiving. There again, with that part of Florida, Zone D, I think it is like a month after us. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's Zone D. But it's just a little part of Polk County, and just from like Lakeland over to Tampa, or Green Swamp over to Tampa. It's pretty amazing that section is way behind the rest of Florida. The South Florida actually starts a little bit before us. So I mean, it's kind of messed up. So you really got to pay attention when you're hunting in Florida, what zone you're going to hunt in. If you're, some people are getting ready to hunt, and it's not hunting season. You got to wait. You got to pay attention. Keep your eyes on the prize, so to speak. So yeah, so it's.
Well, it's hard not to change, I suppose, when the temperature drops like it did today. We dropped like 8 degrees.
Oh, man, yeah. It was super nice today. Yeah. It was a little bit cloudy. Starting to feel fall.
It's starting to, yeah.
Usually around, I keep wanting to call Halloween Easter.
Yeah,
Same
Halloween,
thing.
Easter.
Yeah, the Easter stuff will be out right after Halloween.
That it will.
You know how it is.
Unfortunately.
Nick Wood, how are you, buddy? Do you see scrapes down there? We do see scrapes. We see a lot of scrapes down here, and the scrapes, we got rubs and scrapes. Rubs is when they're trying to rub their, you can hone in on them because they're rubbing the velvet off their horns, so they mark the trees up. So you're paying a little bit of attention. Maybe we'll go out this weekend and find some rubs and scrapes and show people what we're talking about. And you can even find last year's rubs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because the tree takes forever to grow back. Once they literally rub the bark right off. Their horns, they're just rubbing that velvet off. So scrapes they start scraping the trees to leave their scent. They'll urinate in the scent, and if there's a limb hanging, they have a duct gland just on the inside of their eye right there, just like a gland, and they'll just rub their face on it. And as that comes down, the doe catches it, and she does her process, and in that scrape, and she says, "Hey, baby, I'm here."
How early does this process start?
Well, it just depends on what part of Florida you're in, but that'll start just before the rut.
Okay.
They'll start making scrapes. You got to pay attention to the area you're hunting. That's the key to scouting when you're hunting. Looking for scrapes, looking for rubs. Rubs tell you that they're getting close. They have a trail. They have a line that they focus on, and usually you're going to find these scrapes usually around where you start finding rubs.
Okay.
And the rubs on the trees tell you what kind of buck you're looking for. If you don't have public areas, you're not putting your game camera out because there's a good chance that thing's going to be taken. It's going to get
right.
Scooped up out of there. So you're not going to put your camera out there. So you got to look for signs like the Indians did. You got to go a little natural. If you're seeing a rub on a tree about this big around, there's a good chance it's a really good deer. Because they need that big tree to get in there, and some of them, use saplings.
And you can tell if it's a fresh rub or not?
You can tell if it's a fresh rub because, you scrape bark off a tree and come back an hour later, and some of it's a little brown, some of it's still a little yellow, and sap has not quite started dripping off. So you can tell. If you see a lot of sap hanging down, it was several hours ago, and it's starting to brown over where they've scraped the bark off. I know I hunted Chastawitcha, that's the name of it. And I come across this scrape that it looked like someone took a planer and just planed the tree down.
Really?
And I remember picking up this pile of sawdust that he scraped his horns on, my buddy JJ and I remember going, oh my God, I literally picked up with two handfuls this pile of shavings.
Wow.
And he had shaved this big fat tree down to look like a beaver was eating it. And that means he's got huge tines, usually the base of their tines, and that's when they're, the knots on the base of their tines are the gnarliest.
Okay.
And those knots just shredded this tree. So, and I hunted that buck for several years and never got to see it, and I never got to see another scrape like that again. But, man, that was, definitely pretty amazing.
Wow.
So maybe we'll go out this weekend and, we got the Gator boat. We can go to new woods where a lot of people don't go and really start looking for some scrapes. So we need to go to the island where we're camping, not for hunting purposes, but just
explore.
For sign. Yeah, just for signs. Look at what signs are out there because those bucks are going to start. They're going to start their process right now. They're going to start their rubs. They're going to start all that good stuff. So
you got my phone number, right?
I do. It's
Call me.
Okay.
Call me.
I'll give you a call. I'll call you, brother. Are you available this weekend?
I am. Rodney.
Okay. Well, let's plan something.
I'm officially available.
Okay. Now that we got the newness out of the inaugural trip and
okay,
we got it figured out.
Okay, stop there.
Well, okay, I'll stop there
because I want to hear about this boat.
I want to hear how good that coffee is.
Is that right?
What?
Yeah, it's pretty good, right?
Is it different?
It is different.
Okay.
Yeah, don't it's Green Mountain. It's Green Mountain something.
Okay.
One of their flavors, but yeah.
Man, it's just something exceptionally good about that.
It's that Dunkin' Donuts creamer that does it, though.
So I'm getting word that the grass is high at the island, and there's still no power. So I know Todd Anderson will have that taken care of by the camping trip.
Yeah, snap onto it.
No pressure, Todd, but let's get it done, buddy.
So I wonder if that dock underneath yet?
And I think they were putting a new dock there.
So how is the boat, Rodney?
So
Cottonmouth Boat's brand new to your arsenal.
Brand new to the arsenal.
You've opened it up.
Last week you heard us talk to Terry, about the Cottonmouth
I enjoyed that
boat.
show, by the way.
Everybody enjoyed that show.
Yeah, I listened to it back, and I was entertained listening to his conversation again.
Joe Wilson texted me the next day and said, "Send me the number to that coon ass, and I will invite him directly."
Last 176, folks, was a good one. Go back and watch it.
So they got the new dock in. Old dock's still there, I believe. Wait a minute.
New dock.
Todd says the new dock. Randy says the old dock. Hey, Katrina. Oh, damn. Okay, never mind. So they're arguing over the new dock. So the new dock is there. I believe Todd. Todd is the El Capitan because he takes the dock out there.
Nah.
Randy's just a drive-byer. The naysayer is say Randy. So
just wants to poo-poo on the
So
dock.
Lisa and I ran up the St. John's to give this boat just an airing out, so I could get acquainted with it and see what it's capable of and see what it can do and what it can. Man, I'm telling you right now, buddy, this boat is a show.
First impression pulling away from the dock.
First impression was, my gosh, this thing is quiet and drives very well. I mean, really, that was just pulling away from the dock. And then once I started getting away, the first thing I did was throttle up, and that boat was on a plane and gone. And gator, duck boats and gator boats are considered a mud boat. It's what it is. It's not really known for that. But this boat just laid down, pointed its face in the wind, and off we went.
Stable?
Oh, my God. Unbelievably stable. And, I mean, we had 4 people. We'll get to that. But that night we had 4 people in it. And, man, we had 2 people standing on the bow. We had 2 people. I mean, it was just.
But your inaugural launch was just Lisa and yourself.
Just Lisa and I. And we ran over 60 miles on 6 gallons of gas.
Wow.
So I projected that we got about 12 miles to the gallon.
What's that compare? I don't know what to reference that to.
It's hard. Most people judge their motors by hours to the gallon.
Sure.
Gallons per minute or something of that nature.
So why didn't you?
Because I knew my distance.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You can equate it either way.
Okay.
We were gone 3 hours, so I would use 6 gallons of gas. So you can do the math there and say, okay, we burned.
You just know you ran a certain distance.
Right, because I ran the way I was running was grass, no grass. Grass has more friction. The motor, RPMs go up a little higher, so your fuel level is just shooting straight up, and it's just all over the place. So that's why I kind of went in a mud boat. We went 60 miles. We're averaging 10 to 12 miles per gallon. Because we get all the way away, we're kicking up these giant alligators. And I said, hey, check the fuel. We were shaking the fuel to the point where I called our buddy HP because he's a road ranger. And I said,
Does he run out there?
I said, well, they run on the 528, and I was about 10
That
miles.
would be an interesting.
You know what? And he was hooking me up, and
that's good.
I said, look, brother, I'm in a pickle. I'm like under the 528. Good. Do you guys have anybody? Because that might be the first time I ever saved a boater. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
I said, all I need is like a half a gallon, because So once I got to the 528, I was about 10 miles north of it, and once I got to the 528. I was like, okay, well, I had about 3/4 of a gallon to a gallon of fuel, and I kind of estimated that we're getting about 12 to 14 miles to the gallon. We had about, 15 miles to go. And I said, well, let's do it. Let's just make this straight shot. And then we did it. We just made it straight across the grass, and, we barreled that booger right back to the boat ramp. And it did fine. I mean, the boat, we still had fuel when we got back. So, that's why I estimated it around 12 to 14 miles to the gallon. So, that's an important thing to know. So, now we'll keep a gallon gas can with us at all times. In case we do, we're always managed to get to a safe location.
Yeah, from what I understand, you have to balance your good time and your gas gauge. You gotta monitor your good times.
Yes. You
and monitor the gas gauge.
You have to weigh that out. You gotta go, okay,
They're both important.
What's more fun? Sitting in a boat waiting for a ride, or actually riding a boat. So
that's a great story.
That's something you learn. I wanted to know will I need a push pole. Remember the old Gator boat? Yeah. We had a push pole. So as I push back. I mean, there was probably a couple times I could have used a push pole, but I don't think I really need to put one on the boat right now.
So it's a mud boat, and you experienced all kinds of
we
terrain,
literally,
I guess is probably not the right word.
We ran this boat in 2 inches of water, Mike, where the bottom was scraping, and the prop was just only the bottom of the prop was touching the water because it has a keel at the bottom. So the motor was sitting, prop was just at the surface. And it was hard ground. we rode right up in a cow pasture. And if I would have had that boat wide open when I went in and did a U-turn, I could have motored right out. I mean, it wouldn't have been a problem.
Interesting.
But I slowed down because I went, oh, crap, I didn't want to get up on land. And then I slowed down, and now I'm in 2 inches of water.
Now, clarify, we're going to show a video here in a minute.
Okay.
You're in a cow pastures. This wasn't the same cow pastures where the water was up to the cow's chest, was it?
No. That was we bumped into those cows in a different cow pasture.
That was bizarre.
I was looking, I was going, man, there's a fence way out here, and all of a sudden there's these cows going, hey, there's a boat.
That was bizarre.
They're probably telling that story. Dude, there was a boat came right up on us. Moo, moo, moo. Moo, 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 moo.
Moo, 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 moo.
Moo, moo. So that was actually pretty cool. Them cows were way out there. That must have been their favorite eating spot, and they were like, I'm eating there tonight.
And it's cool.
Oh, yeah, and it's super cool. So, but the size of those gators, if I was that cow, I'm not so sure I'd do that, man. They were giant. Brent said he loved the frog trip. We'll talk about that. Well, they say working on the new, that we're not hope to have it done. So Todd wants to know when he take a turn in a new boat. Todd, we may do some gator hunting this weekend. May take Randy's last gator off of this boat.
Well, got to do what you got to do.
So, yeah. So that was our trip on the St. John's. I will tell you this, man. St. John's was kind of tough to get to because it's so flooded that a lot of the boat ramps that you would normally go to are underwater.
Yeah.
You got nowhere to park. You got nowhere to put in. You got nothing. Which I went out on the 520. We put in the 520. There's two boat ramps. There's one on the north side and one on the south side. So I went to the south side first. It was all closed out. I went to one of the wildlife management areas. It was all flooded, where you can, there's a place to put in way down at the end. It's all flooded out, and they got posts up there now. Manny
piped in and said, Noah said it was 10 or 12 feet up or something like that?
16 feet above flood level. 16 feet. So that's absolutely ridiculous. And that's mostly south of the Sanford, Lake George and all that. It's mostly south of all that. So it's not so much up north of it, but south of it. It's just absolutely. Alan, how are you, buddy? So yeah, I mean,
so you're pleased with your acquisition?
I am
of the Cottonmouth.
Definitely pleased with this thing.
Okay.
I will tell you this: by yourself, it's a little scary. It can get pretty squirrely on you. It's perfect for 2 or more people. 4 people, it runs great. 2 people, it's absolute optimal. You know what I mean? Oh, now, am I afraid to run it by myself? Absolutely not. I would have no problem. It's fast. It's powerful. I mean, there's a lot of good things about it.
Sure.
By itself, which that only means you can get yourself in a pickle a lot easier.
Sure.
Because while it can go 90%, 95% of where airboats go, that little 5% can get you in a real jam. So by yourself, it would be a blast, absolute blast. But with 2 people, it's absolutely amazing.
Well, you took a little video. Why don't we play this little
Let's
video?
do it, man.
Nice job, by the way.
Oh, thank you, brother.
Kudos to Lisa on this, too. Very nicely done and well put together. But let's roll this thing and take a look here.
Is it legit?
It's legit.
Legit, cuh.
Nice.
You see that? That's 2 inches of water. So you saw the cows.
Rodney Rogers.
Rodney thinks we're spiked deer. So that was running, man. That was just nothing but running. I mean, there was a time there where we could sneak up into the swamps, and I had to, just ease around trees. And this is where the reverse came in handy because, once I got into pickle, it was like a four-wheeler. I could just back it up, turn, and go the other way. So, there's a couple things on this boat I absolutely would not be without if I bought this boat. And one is that trim. That trim up and down. I mean, that is key when you're running.
Was that the
thing.
sound we were hearing?
Yep. The zzz,
Yeah.
And that, and I kind of with this video, I kind of wanted to point out all the cool attributes of this boat. When you see me running by myself, I was like, man, it was a skedaddle. The trim is one of them. Just that sleek design.
So is Lisa standing on a lily pad for that?
No. Out in the middle of this swamp, there's a hiking trail that goes way out there, and this is like a picnic area. If you hike this trail for several miles, poof, you're at this huge wooden gazebo. It's underwater. I mean, the only thing that was left was like a foot of the deck. So the only way to it was by boat. So I put her out there and I said, hey, I'm going to run by Santa Monica.
I'll be back.
Yeah, I promise. I'll be back.
Time to trust.
That's where you could leave someone, and because swimming out of there with them big old gators is probably not an option.
No, thank you.
But there was ones where she was standing on the front of the boat filming, and I was going through the weeds, and they were slapping her on the back. There's some blooper reels in there somewhere. I assure you. Tommy, what's up, buddy?
Well, nicely done. So that was 2, and then you went out with 4.
So that was 2, and then we decided to get in a little bit of gator hunting.
Okay.
So. We called Nick. Nick has a gator tag left, and we said, "Hey, man, hey, let's give this whole thing a shot. Let's get out there and double date on a gator trip, frog gator trip."
Perfect. Yep.
So, we went out there. Nick took his girlfriend Candace, and there was, so it was just an awesome trip. We got started. And let me tell you a little something about what we've learned about Lake Toho. As the hurricanes came through, the barometric pressure was just unbelievable. So it pushed a lot of the mud to the surface. The agitation of the waves and the pressure, and it caused a lot of the cattails and the hydrilla that was anchored in just, this muck float to the surface, which in turn made a lot of it die. And I can tell you this, if you plan on hunting Lake Toho this year, it's going to be a tough hunt. It may be a lot of ducks, but it's going to be tough because there's not a lot of places to hide now.
Interesting.
90% of the cattails are gone. I mean, they're just gone. So it's hard to actually recognize. When you're on that lake, I mean, I've been on that lake for years. You know me.
Yeah.
I can run that lake with no lights at night. I know exactly where I'm at, in most cases. And a lot of times I use the vegetation that's around because it doesn't change very often. It changes a little bit from year to year, but on the most part,
Until there's a hurricane, then the landmarks change drastically. Yeah.
So then you got to go by the lights.
Interesting.
You know where this light is, you know what that tower is, you know where the city is. So you got to kind of run by lights, and that was this case.
Wow.
So here we are. We're running. We got Lisa and Candace sitting on the cooler. There's a big cooler we got for the center of the boat. and Nick's standing on the front, and we're hauling tail, and we're going through these cattails, and right on the other side is this literally an island of dead cattails, and this boat runs right up on top of it. And I mean, we go from 25 mile an hour to a dead stop. I mean, everybody just goes. I mean, it's like just shook it up, threw the dice up against the wall, and all I hear is just bodies hitting the floor.
Let the bodies hit the
I'm
floor.
saying, dude, that's the song. That's the song I was about to do. And that's exactly what happened. Wow, everybody hits, and I wanted to laugh really bad. I was but
Of course you did.
first I want to make sure everybody was all right.
Yeah, number one.
Because, and then, I was surprised no one got hurt. So
Cue the laughter.
Actually, I forgot to laugh. I mean, it's just so funny I forgot to laugh. I literally forgot to laugh because I was so worried about everybody. Because this thing just came to
Yeah.
But I will tell you this. That cooler was only sitting down on the floor. It didn't move. And there was a little bit of ice in it, some drinks, but it didn't shoot forwards. It's got those rubber stops on the bottom.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so it was locked. Randy says, nice, I hit a few of them islands in my boat. They are nasty, And the problem was I couldn't get my prop in the water. I couldn't get it to touch. There's no water for it to touch. I'm literally sitting on an island, So I had to wiggle this thing down, beat it down in to get this thing to even touch some water so I could get some RPMs to start pushing this grass and giving me a little spot. So, we were kind of working our weight back to get it off, shake it off this island. We finally got to where I could turn the boat around and then skedaddle out of there. So that was the toughest part. That's where the pole would have came in handy. I could have pushed, off the bottom.
Because you don't always want to get out of the boat
to
fix the problem.
But it reminded me that never take my eyes off of what's coming. You don't crash through the weeds like it. You just don't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I don't know what I was thinking. I knew better, and I did it anyway. You never do that. You always ease into those things, nice and easy because you never know what's on the other side. It could be a dock on the other side. You don't know. So that didn't happen again, But we got on a ton of alligators, man. We got on a ton of 7 and 8 foot alligators. It was just we weren't looking for those, but I mean, we literally had them under the boat. We could have hit them with a just tapped them on the head with a hammer. We could have took them in any way we could, but that's not what we were looking for.
Yeah.
So this boat is definitely gonna, we hope to pull in a big one with this last.
This is a good one for it, isn't it?
Yeah, this is, man, dude, it went through this mud and stuff just at an idle. I mean, just and never even slowed down. Wow. Remember how the old, when we get a little grass, you have to lift it out of the motor.
That was annoying.
Not this one.
At the least, it was annoying, yeah.
Not this one. I idled through that stuff. And I look back at one time, and I had islands behind me just dragging them. And I look under this whole pot of grass, and we're dragging them.
Sure.
And when we got to where there was no frogs or alligators, I'd lift it up and let that island float away, and I'd put it back down, and do its thing. But I mean, it was just nonstop. Brian, how are you, buddy? So so it was awesome. So we happened to see a big frog. Hey, there's a big frog right there. So it went from alligator escapade to frog catching escapade. And it's been a while since we've caught frogs because Lake Toho has had so much hydrilla on it and so much grass. The frogs get in that grass, you can't find them. Now they've got no place to hide, man. I mean, now it's just, there they are. They're just sticking out right there in the open. And, man, what a blast. And I even think I went, oh, there you go. Okay, I knew I went live at one point. And, we could see the frogs. And as you can see, there's cattails are still there. Look at that. Ooh, grab that frog right off of that. Wham, just right off the lily pads. I mean, just right off the lily pads. Wham. Look at them legs on that thing, man. And I'm going to tell you right, they were a lot of good frogs. So we're going to try to sneak out during this week. I'm trying to talk Lisa into saying, hey, let's just go get some frogs. And I know Nick's all for it. Nick's like, I'm ready to grab some frogs. I know Candace will do it. Just so we can do some more frogging. And, of course, we end up catching 25 or 26 frogs. And then, we had to clean these frogs. Oh, there you go. We had to clean these frogs. So if you're squeamish, now's not the time to be, Oh, wham! This one I just basically butchered. This. So a lot of times you just cut that lower half and you just pull those legs right off like a pair of pants. That's what I was saying. Just skin it like a pair of pants.
The sad part is my pants come off about as tough as it's about the same kind of wrestling.
Yes. So from now on, I'm gonna say these pants fit like frog skin, because I'm telling you right now, I got some frog skin
pants. The same fight.
And then you just pull it right off. And actually, Lisa was pretty amazed about how white this meat actually was.
It really did.
I mean, it is literally just, and
I was
it's
surprised.
I always say, frog legs, it's the other white meat. It's like 2 white meats in, but it is absolutely amazing white meat.
What was the total count you got?
The total count was 25 or 26. I want to say it was 25. We'll just go with 25 frogs. And that's a lot to clean. It took me about, 30 minutes to clean these 25 frogs. Some of them were I probably could have let them grow another year, but, when you get frog in your mind and you haven't had frog legs in a while, you want, you want to clean as much as you can. So then, of course, that was the perfect, I treated myself king for a day kind of.
Yeah. It was.
It was definitely
totally
king for a day. You get out there, we caught the frogs, we cleaned the frogs, and then, man, did I ever put the frog. Now, anybody can cook frog legs. I mean, you just deep fry the frogs and you're good to go. I mean, you really can't go wrong, But there's times, I tell everybody, I treat frog legs like shrimp, because there's no.
Now, did I see you put a piece in your mouth?
When? Here?
Anytime.
No.
When you're cooking them?
Oh, yes. You did.
Before you cooked it?
Oh, not before I cooked it.
Okay.
No, I don't eat frog sushi.
Okay, good.
That's called fushi.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't eat no fushi. You know what I'm saying? We won't be eating no frog sushi today.
Okay.
So you can see how fat these legs are.
Yeah.
Just absolutely amazing, man. Just super, super amazing. They were just huge, fat, man. They were crazy. So, I'm actually watching it on the same thing you are.
Yeah, I was fascinated, and I anytime you catch something and clean it and eat it that is the king for a day. And to me, that's the ultimate.
Absolutely.
There's just something about following through rather than just putting it in the freezer.
And
that's great and all, but
yeah.
To culminate it at a dinner, eating your catch for the day.
Very fresh. So Alan says, you got your frog snatching license? In the state of Florida, now keep in mind, when you catch frogs, you need a fishing license. So there you have that. What up, David? So here you see me basically doing my favorite recipe, and it is so simple. It's basically take shrimp scampi, substitute the shrimp for frog legs. I mean, that's what I do. I use, obviously, here I use Pinot Grigio for the wine, and the fresh garlic, the butter, all the stuff you would use in a shrimp scampi, and then I put the frog legs in. Now, one of the key things that I do with the frog legs is I debone them. Once the frogs have sauteed in this, I'll debone the frog legs.
Oh, okay, so it falls off better
right.
at that point.
Yeah, it actually, much to my surprise, a lot of it fell off the bone before I could get to it, which kind of made it bad for me because I had to go in all that and get the bones out.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
And I would rather pull the whole leg out, and that way I could control, what bone it was. But and here you see me just throw the whole thing in there. I'm gonna just.
Now, I have had frog legs before, but like you said, fried. So I've never had it cooked any other way.
Any other way. Most people haven't.
And honestly, is it?
It's a huge difference.
Is it good? I mean, is it clean? Is it? You can't say fishy. Is it froggy? Is it? Is the flavor? Is there something off about it, or is it very clean flavor?
Do you remember when your dad was at the house, and I had frog legs and white wine sauce?
Yeah.
This was it. Did you try it that night? I don't know if you tried it or not. I literally just got done cooking it.
I don't know if I did or not. I remember the gator, but I don't remember the frog.
I think you guys just had the gator. I'm not sure if you guys had the frog. So, but this was what I did. Yeah, it is super white, clean. Cool thing about frogs is alligator is a product of their environment because they eat what's in the water. Frogs are a product of the environment. They don't eat, They don't eat everything out of the water. They live in that water, but they don't taste like fish, where alligator can and often does taste like fish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, not frog legs. Frog legs don't have that fish taste, that pungent, any taste.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
It is literally, if I put that in your mouth for you to eat, and something I'm going to say. A lot of people relate this to chicken, man, and I'm telling you, that's about as close as you can get.
So it will absorb the flavor however you season it. It'll take on the seasoning quite well.
Exactly. And fish will always taste like fish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. Fish tastes like fish. There's some fish that are less fishy than other fish. There's some fish that are more fishy. But they all taste like fish. Unless it's sushi, fresh sushi, then it doesn't really have a fish taste. But frog legs is like that. I mean, it's literally just a great meat. And like I said, I treat it like shrimp.
Do you ever get a bad frog leg?
I've never had a bad frog leg. Not yet. Not saying I won't. Not saying you can't. Yeah. But not yet. Because you're cooking this fresh. I mean, you're literally going right from, lake to table. What I call lake to land. Yeah. And you are cooking this stuff up. What are you putting in their mouth? Putting in whose mouth? What are we talking about?
Are they watching the right show?
Yeah. What are you putting in? Oh, what are you putting in his mouth? Oh, frog legs. That's what it is. What are you putting in his mouth? Frog leg. Put frog leg. So, and then, then what I do is I take angel hair pasta, not to make it sound fancy. Oh, look at there. That's some... And not to make it sound fancy, but it's very light pasta. You don't want a heavy linguine or spaghetti or nothing like that. Okay. You don't want a lot of pasta.
That makes sense.
You just want to keep it simple. A little bit of angel hair pasta. Inside the pasta is basically just seasoning, oregano, olive oil, a little bit of salt, pepper, cherry tomatoes. Just cut them up.
Light.
Yeah, very light. You're keeping that in there, and just a little bit of Parmesan on top of that.
Yeah, I can see why you wouldn't want to make a dish like that heavy.
Yeah.
Because people psychologically are already going to be looking for something.
Right.
Keep it light.
So if you keep it light, then it turns out. I haven't eaten yet today, and now I'm hungry. Cole was making something with garlic so I can taste the scampi. That's
perfect.
That's what Alan says. Tell Cole we said hello. And so, it just makes it a great dish. And you know me, I like cooking on my wildlife a little bit different than fried. I mean, anybody can fry anything.
Sure.
Yeah. And as a kid, what's funny is Lisa had asked me, what made me hunt? She goes, I don't hunt like you do. I don't. And kind of the old what made me hunt thing, and this was the best thing I could tell her. When I was a kid, my dad would bring home food fresh every day. The meat was brought home fresh every day. So it's not like we had this plethora of stuff in the refrigerator. You couldn't just go there to get something to eat.
Sure.
But when I killed my first rabbit, my sister didn't want none. My dad didn't want none. You know what I mean? Nobody wanted any. So I got to eat this thing all to myself. And I realized if I killed 2 rabbits, I get to eat 2 rabbits. If I killed 3 rabbits, Mike, guess how many rabbits I got to eat?
I'm going to guess 3.
All 3 by myself. So I realized that if I hunted my own stuff, I knew they didn't like it. My gosh.
Yeah.
I could eat all I wanted. No one could tell me what. That's my rabbit. You're not. I'm eating it. So I wasn't stopped. You know how it is growing up as a kid. When we were kids, the refrigerator was off limits. You had to ask to go in. And if there was food in there, that was for a reason. There's for a reason.
Yep.
So
it was managed.
That's why and how I managed to hunt as much as I do.
Well, that is a good looking bull glass
of frog legs.
Frog legs.
It doesn't get any better than that, does it, brother? So Hollow Point says, it was so good you forgot to save me a plate.
Yeah, that looks nice and clean, but check this out.
Uh-oh. And there's the finished dish. Look at that, man. That's just...
I mean, that's impressive, Rodney.
That's just... When it comes to presentation, you can't get more presentable than that bad boy right there, can you?
HP, he didn't save you any.
No.
Here's why.
You know what? I had it for lunch yesterday. I had it for lunch today. That means I've got 2 more lunches in me.
That right there, I love those last 2 pictures and leftovers that look that good, Rodney.
Oh, yeah. When I walked in to work,
I was going to ask.
And I heated it.
I was going to ask.
They come back and say, hey, my gosh, what is that? And I go, frog legs, man. He goes, that smells good. Roger, one of our guys up there, Roger, he goes, man, that smells amazing. And he goes, can I have some? And I said, man, absolutely not. No way. Are you getting any of these frog legs? He goes, no, man. But for real, can I taste it? And I go, heck, man, no. You cannot taste my frog. And I told him, I said, dude, you're welcome to try it. I would love for you to try this, but no one would dare try the frog legs. If I wouldn't have told him it was frog legs,
would he have known?
I don't think they would have. No, you couldn't guess it. I don't think you could. There's no way.
Yeah. And
I may do frog leg chili this year. I mean, that may be worth doing frog leg chili.
Are frog legs available commercially?
They are available commercially. Petty's Meat Market, that's where I normally buy frog legs, is at Petty's Meats. And I usually buy all that they have in hand. Usually they only keep about 4, 5, 6 pounds.
Sure.
In stock, because not everybody runs up there and gets them. So I always call before, and I go, hey, do you guys got frog legs? And they go, yeah. And I'm going, dude, how much do you got? And they go, 5 pounds. I go, I want them all. I'm on my way.
But you don't see them in TV dinners.
No, you don't see the frog leg TV dinners. Not like you used to. You know what?
They've phased out.
They phased out. They absolutely phased out. So,
but why?
They're just getting harder to find. They really are. Not all lakes have frog legs. Frog legs are the most sensitive animal in the environment. Frogs, salamanders, anything that breathes through their skin.
That
you know what I mean?
makes total sense.
So they're very susceptible to even the minutest of pollution.
Yeah.
When we spray weed control, that area will not have a frog in it for 4 or 5 years. So these things push away. They push to different areas. It's not that they die, but they just go to different areas.
Sure.
So it's been a while since I've been out there. Vadi says it all tastes like chicken. You know what's funny is frog legs, in fact, you can equate it closest to chicken, period.
Probably as much as anything, right?
As anything, yeah. It doesn't have the consistency of chicken, but it certainly has it's like you said, chicken is just basically whatever you cook it in.
Yeah.
That's chicken.
Yeah.
So, and frog legs is the same way. But frogs are very susceptible to environment. That's why you don't see these little ponds with frogs. They'll have toads. The toads will lay their eggs and they'll get out of the water.
Oh, that's interesting.
And they're out,
Sure.
But there's no frogs per se because these ponds, you have fuel runoff from the highways. They're retention ponds, yard fertilize and bug sprays and pesticides. Yep. And so frogs just cannot live in that environment. So they're very, very, eco-friendly. So are eco-susceptible. I don't even know if that's a word.
Sure.
Frog chili will get you a trophy. Boy, you ain't lying. So, so if you see a lake, I always tell everybody, if you see a lake with fish, can you eat the fish? Absolutely. Fish are alive. It's just mercury contents in fish, that you got to watch out for. Eat the smaller fish and you're fine. If you see a lake with frogs and fish, not only are the fish in great shape, but it's not that polluted because you do have a frog population that allows you to.
Interesting point, Rodney.
This is not as polluted, so that's always a good thing.
Well, what kind of chili have I been campaigning for the last couple years for?
Lake chili, and this
Toho chili.
Toho chili, you have. I think this is a perfect time, man.
But you could do the frog legs. There's your protein.
Maybe you got your big LED lights. Won't we just do a night of frogging? Just straight up, just no holds barred frogging.
I want Rodney to do Toho chili.
Toho chili.
Because who said that frog?
Alan.
Yeah, but do a Toho chili. Frogs could be the protein.
Yep.
But all the everything you could even purify the water probably.
Yeah.
But do it from Toho chili
I see what you're saying.
Because then you could also make it promoting Lake Toho and have a very conservation.
Absolutely.
If everything in this chili came out of Lake Toho,
yeah,
it might turn some heads.
Right.
But you might actually, I think that's a huge plus.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
I say we do it. Even if we do a big pot to serve, but we make the small pot or whatever it'll make. Because the frog leg, normally we use 15, 20 pounds of meat.
Fair enough, yeah.
But I'm not sure. But we do that small pot of just straight Toho chili, and that's what we turn in.
Maybe it's a chili with some sort of little topping on it that has the actual protein, so you can sprinkle.
Yeah, exactly. I like when you say protein. The protein. That's when the chef they but what type of and like Alan said, see turtles. Let me tell you something about turtles. Have that fish taste. They have a fish taste. They taste like fish. So if you harvest a turtle and you eat it, there's a good chance it's gonna taste like fish. So the only way I have had turtle and I have cooked turtle is fried. I just really haven't tried a whole lot of different ways to cook turtle in different ways. So, the only way I've had it is fried. So, because of that taste.
Right.
Turtle is very strong.
Always hear turtle soup.
Yeah. And a lot of times that turtle soup is green turtle, which is the saltwater. Green turtle soup, supposedly amazing. There's very few places outside of the United States you can still get green turtle soup. And I would love to try it. I mean, I really would. I mean, it'd be awesome. Surf and turf. Exactly. Turtle, surf and turf.
Rodney, before our quarter runs out.
Yes.
I don't want to get too backed up on some of the viewer questions. Do you have time for some questions for tonight?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do some.
You've got mail.
Letters. We get letters. We get
Stop, whoa, yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman.
Send me an email with all the details.
Another freaking email. Another freaking email song.
Mail time. Mail time. Mail time. The mail's here.
On a top flight, hold you tight, get you there by daylight, give you right overnight mail.
Love it. We ain't heard that in a while.
I know, it's been a while.
It's been a while. Fishing for answers. Let's do it.
Fishing for some answers. Terrence B. from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Rodney wants to know, have you ever used bacon as bait?
You know what? I have.
Really?
I put it on the counter, and every time my dog jumps up, I hit him with a taser. So
that
is
a good answer.
That's a great one.
Touche,
I
Mr.
just
Rogers.
pulled that one out of
did.
there. No, I have not. But I would think it would be great catfish bait. I would think. I mean, if I had to use it for something, it'd be for catfish.
As with probably much of anything.
Yeah.
Be good with catfish, right?
Yeah, or a fat guy trying to break in my house. One of the two.
Okay. Here's a question we've had before. Ronaldo S. wants to know from Palm Bay, Florida, how would I know if a fish I caught is not edible?
You know what? There's a website. FWC has a website that has every fish out there you could possibly put your hands on, and and they give you the edible value of it.
Oh, really?
What's the term for it? Not edible value of. There's a word for it.
Okay.
Tells you on a 1 to 10 how edible is this fish, and it'll give you a scale. Some people like it, some people don't. All the way up to 10, everybody will eat this fish. And I can tell you that most fish are edible. I mean, there's not many fish that are not edible. Now, they may be so ugly that you don't want to fool with them.
Sure.
But, the toadfish, I've seen the Chinese, the process of their method of cooking these toadfish that are just literally horribly poisonous, blowfish. I mean, deer meat for dinner. Those guys are amazing. They cook he goes out and specifically catches blowfish just for a day of blowfish. They enjoy the fire out of them. That poison in that is so toxic. When you get it in you, it's over. You're done.
Wow.
Your body it's a neurotoxin. It just shuts you down.
Well, you may have exactly answered his question, but when I read that, I wondered if it was meaning if a fish has gone bad or is maybe not suitable for eating.
Oh, okay.
And you may be right on the money, but
I'll give you the answer for that one.
Do that one too, just in case.
If you pull your fish out and it smells very strong like fish, and I know it sounds weird, then it's bad. Your fish coming out of a refrigerator or out of a Publix or out of whatever market you use, you grab that fish and you smell it. And if it smells like very strong fish, it's done. Give it back. I don't want this fish. Let me try another piece of fish. Because remember, those fish markets, you don't have to pick the fish they hand you. You hand pick your fish. And if you get that fish, you say, hey, let me smell that real quick. You smell it, and if you can't really smell fish, because most fish you cannot smell unless you're gutting it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's the only time you can smell it. When it's clean, you really cannot smell the fish.
Interesting.
Then you're good to go.
Okay.
You know, it's fresh and you're good to go.
Very good. Next question from Gene R. in Bainbridge, Georgia says, How long will you fish a pond without any bites before moving on?
That's actually a great question. 10 minutes.
Really?
Yeah. 10 minutes, I'm out of there. Because I usually keep 2 or 3 baits on me at all times. I keep them around my neck, you know. So I use 3 baits, and here's a quick analogy. I use a soft bait to drop me. I can use a soft bait from the top to the bottom of the water table. I can fish it fast as a buzz bait, and I can ease it down. And in 10 minutes, if I don't get a bait anywhere in that table of water, I bail out. That's a pretty good chance. And I hit all the prime locations. I hit the closest ones to the weeds. I'll hit the drains if I know there's a drain there. If there's a tree limb in the water, I'll hit those. If you don't catch any with those, then I move on. So I hit the spots that I know the fish are going to be at.
You can quickly tell if something's happening.
Absolutely. Now, if you want to pound that fish for 2 or 3 hours, you might pull one fish out, but you'll be super disappointed.
Okay.
Yeah, so just give it 10 minutes and get on down the road.
Here's a very specific one from Denver S. in Tallahassee, Florida says, What spinning reel should I use for a panfish to saltwater speckled trout?
You know what? The best spinning reel for that whole setup is a Shimano 2000. Now, pick a reel, any of them. You know, each one is numbered differently, but some of them will say 20, 2000, a 200, but that just means the size of the spool.
Okay.
So anything in that 2000 range, you can actually run the gamut. You can literally run the gamut. Because here's why. Those fish aren't going to spool you. A speckled trout's not going to spool you. A tarpon will. So you want to use a 7500 for a tarpon, but stay around that 2,000 to 3,000 range in your spinning reel, and you can fish that whole gamut. The line is what's going to make all the difference in the world. And don't be afraid to use a 10-pound braided line. It's super thin, and you can hold a lot of it on your pole. And like I said, you can fish from panfish to speckled trout with that 10-pound braided line. You know, so just keep that in mind, and that'd be the easiest thing to remember. Stay in that 2,000 to 3,000 range, and man, you'll be good to go.
That was like a speed round for you, Rodney.
It was, man. It was. And I got a lot of good braving on those speed rounds. People love those. So, Ivan, how are you, buddy? So, we got Ivan. Ivan, we were just talking about you tonight, looking at some of our video. So, you can't use the god of foods to fish with. Hashtag don't use bacon.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of probably, I'm sure that is sacrilegious to many.
Yeah. So, Mike, man, what a show. You know, we got to test the boat out. I'm excited. We got a lot of things filmed to be shooting off this thing. It's just going to be such a great addition to the family. I know I'm excited. And
Can't wait to meet her.
Yeah, you can't wait, I'm sure. Eric, how are you, buddy? Good to see you, man. So, anyway, for those of you that miss the show at this point, don't worry. You can just go back, click, start it all over, and see what you missed. You missed a lot of good stuff. We posted a lot of good videos. Mike was able to pull it off. I'm glad.
Yeah, and the video we played tonight, you can go to the YouTube channel and check that out.
Oh, that's right.
It's
We got it up on YouTube. You can see it there. That's just us basically 2.5 minutes of just running this boat. So, very pleased with it. We got duck season coming up. We've got, you know, deer season's in. Duck season will be here in November. We're going to be hitting that pretty hard now that we got a duck boat.
November. It's like a week. It's like 2 weeks away.
It's here. It's here. You know, so we got the camping trip coming up. We're going to be shooting you the info. I'm getting a lot of messages on camping trips. I promise you we'll have that posted in plenty of time for you to take the days off.
Yeah, we need to do that soon.
Yeah, we'll put something together here
because,
pretty quick.
like I say, it's November and then we're a month away. So
yeah, we're almost there.
Time.
So, guys, thank you for hanging out with us and enjoying this 1 hour vacation with us. I know we love you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And I don't even know.
Your mom. It's your mom who says it.
It's my mama says. My mama said 18 million times, and I pray I get to say it half as much because you know how much I love my mama.
You do, Rodney.
I love your mom, and you kids get outside and stay.